of what I saw. Of course, there's a barricade, there's high, tall grass. Seems like it's unkempt, and it's padlocked, so nobody can enter at their will, not like before. How did it ended up like this, sir? What is the history behind those tall fence and padlock?
Well, it started as something before the COVID. There are already incidents wherein because there is a slab there, and they kind of fix homeless people tend to kind of stay around there. Unfortunately, they are not, because of lack of sanitation facilities. They sometimes urinate there, defecate, and those among us who are assigned there, in fact, they report that it's becoming such a challenge to be cleaning around that, and that was way before the COVID. But during the COVID, it really kind of the homeless people really kind of mushroom. Whereas before the COVID, there might be a 2 or 3 tents there, but they just multiplied like crazy, and in fact, I'll show you some of the pictures later. I'll provide those pictures on how it was, and so it was really very challenging, I'm quite sure, for the city, because they have to find some solution on the homelessness problem. Apparently, there was a time during the end of the COVID that they were probably relocated or put on more decent housing, but they were afraid, I'm quite sure, that it might recall. So eventually, one day we just found out that they have chain link fence around the Margate Park, and we cannot get easy access. So we have to call the Chicago Park District to give us permission to enter, and explain to them that we are the group that usually honor the national hero, and we have certain ceremonies to perform. And so whenever that is occasion, which is mainly June 19 and December 30, in recent months, they open it for us for a certain number of hours, So the way I understood it from them, as you could probably see when you visited it, they apparently converted the whole park into a kind of a sanctuary for indigenous prairie plants, the plants that can be seen in the prairie prior to the big development of Illinois. Now they use the place as a kind of a breeding place, so that those plants will be preserved,
Yes, sir.
So, but in the end, as you can see, a project like that will be kind of affect the visuals. Whereas before you have nicely trimmed and manicured lawn, now we have tall grasses and milkweeds and all the wild flowers. They have their charm, but as you see, it kind of constrain our access mainly to the monument that we have there for our national hero. That is, it's not as like easy
Before.
as where in anytime you feel like you are going to visit it, you don't have to ask any permission from any bureaucratic layer,
So-
now it's different. That's
Yeah.
the case,
So, sir, really, there was no before the Chicago Park District barricaded the area. The Filipino community wasn't consulted.
No, unfortunately, it seems like they have a total control on what's going on the Margate Park.
Okay. Was
that space for our hero was
yes.
granted pro bono, but they did not give us any covenant that we have any control whatsoever.
Yes, sir.
In fact, it has been a long dream of ours that from the street on Marine Drive going to, because there is about a good 50 to 75 feet away from the sidewalk into the monument. It's a kind of a long walk, and it can be very, and we have seen those months when there is a heavy snowfall on around the end of December. It is really a challenge to go there with with your flowers, but
Yes, sir.
it's freezing and the snow is about 2 feet high.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
we have seen those days. You know,
Yes,
but
sir.
we were kind of lobbying that we will be at least given the opportunity to pave that pathway from the sidewalk of Marine Drive into the monument, but they won't relent on the fact that they
I
want
see.
it a contiguous loan that they maintain.
Yes, sir.
So
So, sir, was there any pushback on part of the Filipino-American leaders in Chicago about the fact that when you just the mere fact that there's a barricade around Dr. Jose Rizal, the monument, and the place is really not kept real well, tall grass and everything. Was there any pushback, sir, on the part of maybe? Do we have any Filipino-American in the council, maybe, or Filipino-American leaders, or even maybe in your Pinoy news magazine?
well, a good news is that we had one Filipina for the first time who was elected as alderman in the city council. That's we made history in the last local election, but unfortunately that's not her ward. Okay, I made it a point to invite her, in fact, on the floral opening last June 19, but she begged off. She said that she had a prior commitment. Of course, my dream there is for her to see the kind of challenges we are facing now, and maybe she can help us kind of make some representation, especially to the Park District, on giving us some easy access, or
Yes,
at
sir.
least that immediate location where the monument is erected. It should be open to the public without the extra effort of getting permission and opening the gates for
Yes, sir.
people who would like to visit the monument.
Yes, sir.
But
Sir,
eventually, we would like to kind of gradually. This is a recent phenomenon. So, when you are like parang nakikitira, we know how difficult it was to get a location for this monument, and when they gave us that special permit, we're just more than happy to be compliant. And now
yes, sir.
we could see that when they have total control about the place, then you try to figure out on how to make it kind of just easy to
Yes, sir.
make our project, our monument for our national hero, be more kind of accessible to
Yes,
our
sir.
community.
Sir, I wanted to ask you, sir, do you think that the Philippine consulate in Chicago, or even the national government, or even the international headquarters of the Knights of Rizal, in your mind, sir, what would be a positive step towards some resolution on the on this issue on the monument being barricaded and just the image of it being cleaned up?
Well, that's a good observation, because it has passed my mind wherein we can rally different organizations. We have very active organizations like the Philippine Independence Week Committee, TINAPA, and we have the Filipino American Cultural Foundation. They are conscious of what happened. We told them on what is the latest development with regards to the location of the monument. Now, there's not much on the Philippine consulate. This is local matter, you know. So what they can do probably is challenge the different Filipino American organization to organize a petition campaign, for instance. You know, after all, politicians, they always listen for their constituents, especially those who vote for them. So it will be a nice project to rally the community in challenges like this. I also see some positive things when there is a challenge like this, that is a good rallying point for the Filipino community to unite on something worthy. And if there's something worthy, nowadays, this is probably one of them, you know.
Now, surely, sir, this is a bellwether situation where maybe this will break or make the Filipino community in not only in Chicago, maybe even in the America. You know, seeing this imagery of how the monument of the Knights of Rizal situation is, monument of Dr. Rizal. The situation, and maybe even the Knights of Rizal. Is there any particular call that you would like to make to the international headquarters of the Knights of Rizal, sir? Anything they can do in your mind to help, maybe even give you moral support, maybe, or give you some ideas, maybe? Because this is when you talk about the Knights of Rizal, this is one of their mantras, to spreading Rizalism. And there's this image of Rizal behind this chain link fence and high dead grass is really telling on how maybe some issues on how Dr. Rizal is regarded.
Yeah, you know what? We certainly, as an organization, we certainly welcome any kind of support, whether it's financially, materially, or in spirit of cooperation. We take, of course, all those. But I would like to see this kind of a local challenge, knowing that the Knights of Rizal, especially in the international level, you know, it's challenging enough to kind of take care of its local challenges, and especially now in the Philippine headquarters, there are a lot of problems that need to be addressed to, and we don't want to add to that. And this one, I have to put it in context for an outsider like you coming here. Of course, it's a kind of curiously a shocker, but considering this development is an offshoot of a greater problem in the city, the problem of homelessness. Actually, I cannot say that what they did is a desecration of our own monument, of our own tribute to our national hero. Actually, the solution, I myself, I am a very pro-environmentalist. What they did is very acceptable to most people, because there is a great concern about the fast removal of all the indigenous botanical plants in the area. And doing this, actually, there will be minimal kind of outrage, because they see it as a solution to the problem of people taking over the place. And for us now is the Filipino community should approach this with very kind of approach it in a very sensitive way, wherein we are still part of the a greater community, okay, who should be concerned about homelessness, about the environment. And so if we can get a niche out of that, because I myself, to tell you frankly, when I go there, I don't have much shock, so to speak, because I was shocked when there was a lot of tents all around it 3 years ago when we had ceremony there. As I said, marami tayong photo bombers kasi yung mga background, mga tent, sabi ko pagka nag-photo opportunity. But having said that, now actually being there last June 19, no one among those different chapters were kind of overly concerned about the growth of all those indigenous plants. What we need probably is an easy access without going to layer. That's where we had